and welcome to the Modern Christian Mom. My name's Katie and I'm glad you're here with us today. Today we are discussing Luke 19. Let's go ahead and get our YouVersion Bible app open. Alrighty, so as we open up our YouVersion Bible app, we are in Insider Luke on day 19. Let's go ahead and jump into our devotional. In this chapter, we met Zacchaeus, a very interesting character from whom there's a lot to learn. Despite his high ranking, Zacchaeus' curiosity about Jesus exceeded what people from his context might have thought. He wanted to see Jesus, and when they met, his immediate reaction was that of joy and obedience. Do we express the same attitude? Is your desire to follow Jesus visible to people around you? So most people grew up hearing the story about Zacchaeus climbing a sycamore tree. And if you didn't hear the story, you at least heard the song, Zacchaeus was a wee little man was he. So I'm sure you've heard that. If not, I'm sure you can find it. Either way, it's more to Zacchaeus than just he was a short little man who climbed a tree to see Jesus. No, he did climb a tree. That is correct. I believe he was short. I had to do some research on that. But the thing is, he was trying to see Jesus. And he went up that tree, saw Jesus, and Jesus saw him. Which Jesus more than likely already knew he was going to be there. So Jesus told him, Zacchaeus, come down from there. We're eating at your house tonight. So Zacchaeus goes. He doesn't say no or anything. He goes and prepares his house for Jesus and his disciples. And the Pharisees are like, this is a tax collector. Because here's the big thing about Zacchaeus. He was not a good man. He was a tax collector. And they weren't like the IRS or any other type of tax collectors we have nowadays. Zacchaeus was a person who would come up and knock on your door and say, hey, you owe this much. He'd be asking for 20 shillings when you actually only owe 10, and he'd just skim the rest off the top. So tax collectors, that's what they did back then. They were just not good people at all. So, for Jesus to go and hang out with him, it is saying that, yeah, he's a sinner. I'm here for the sinners. Because we are all sinners. The Pharisees were sinners too. Super religious people are sinners. Everyone is sinners and no one is better than anyone else. Jesus gives a very famous parable about the 10 servants. Where he goes, he gives each servant so many shillings and says, here, go invest this for me while I'm away. And he goes on, and one's like, oh, I invested it and I got 10 times back. Next one's, oh, I invested it, I got 5 times back. And he gave them that much more reward and things to be over. Because they invested his money and did what he told them and did a good job. But the final guy gets to them and he's like, no, I didn't invest your money. You harvest the food after you didn't work for it. We worked for it. And the guy's like, okay, so I'm the owner. If you know I'm the owner, why didn't you do what I told you? Let me take that money from you, and I'm going to give it to someone who's going to actually invest it. Some people look at this parable, and they're like, oh, he's talking about money. We need to invest our money. But the thing is, if you look in the very first verse, verse 11, the first verse in the parable, it's saying, Jesus is saying that he's talking about the kingdom of God coming. And that is not going to come right away. So Jesus was giving us knowledge to invest, the news of his crucifixion, the news of the grace that he's given us. And we need to invest that. We need to spread that. We need to multiply that. We don't need to just keep it to ourselves. And I believe that's what he's getting at there. Jesus then went on to do what we now call as Palm Sunday. He got on a donkey, a colt that was wild, rode in, and people began praising him. And they were saying, Hosanna, you're amazing. They were praising him for all the miracles that he had done. And the Pharisees, they were like, hey, make them stop. And Jesus said that, well, if they stop, the desert, the stars, the ground, the rocks, they will come and praise me. As Jesus entered Jerusalem, he began to weep for the sin that we have engulfed ourselves in. Even though he was coming to save it, we are such sinners, and he cried for us. As Jesus enters the temple, he finds people are selling animals for sacrifices and just using the temple as a way to get money, and he runs them out, and it's like, this is not what I stand for. This is not what God stands for. I'm not a gimmick to make money. I am here to be worshipped. I am here for your sake. So, like Zacchaeus, is your desire to follow Jesus visible to people around you? Are you showing it in your everyday life? I really try to, and I hope I am. If you think I am, let me know. And if not, how would you improve? So thank you again, and join us next time in Luke 20.